Hello, hello. Welcome to Tuesday Tea Time. I almost forgot it was Tuesday. I am home and I'm out with the beautiful horses and time flies. Goes by so fast. So, unusual time. You people may or may not join me live, but I know many of you will watch this afterwards, tomorrow perhaps. So, I'll just give you a little bit of a view of the horses. They're out wandering around, enjoying the day. I am enjoying watching them. So today, for tea time, I wanted to talk a little bit about learning with the horse versus teaching the horse. And I want to follow up a little bit from last week's tea time because it was a little bit perhaps controversial, perhaps pressuring people to think a little bit. And I think that both ways of working are equally valid. So that means that sometimes we are going to be learning with the horse, and sometimes we're going to be teaching the horse. And I think that there are a lot of very good trainers out there right now who are teaching people how to teach the horse skills. And that's good. I want horses to have skills, and I want people to know how to teach skills. What I do is a little bit different. What I do is I aim to teach people how to learn with their horse. So this is usually going to be used in conjunction with other training methods. This is going to be something you do for the 5 minutes before you put your halter on and the 5 minutes after you take your halter off, so that you know your horse better. And when you know your horse better, you can then do a better job of teaching them when you want to. If you're like me, you're going to spend a lot more than 10 minutes a day learning with your horse, because it's the most fun I've ever had with horses. I've been a horse trainer for a long time. I've taught horses a lot of skills, and I have no problem with that. But now I'm at a time in my life where I really would rather learn more with my horses than I want to teach. So I do hope that people will teach their horses skills before they put them in any dangerous situations, before you're around cars, fast-moving bicycles, anything that would hurt your horse. I want to make sure that you can teach them to just relax and listen to your signals, because you know the situation better than your horse does. I like staying at home, and I like doing the most of my training learning with my horses. And then later on, when I'm ready to, I'll tack a little bit of skills on top of that. And I find that skills teaching is incredibly easy if you have a strong enough foundation of learning with your horse. So it really is two different things that can be bridged together, because the stronger your foundation of knowing your horse, the easier it will be to teach them skills. I don't find it works the other way around particularly. I meet a lot of people who are very good at teaching skills, but they are not very good at adapting to different horse personalities and different horse characters and learning the different things that different horses can teach us. And that is more interesting to me. So in tea time today, I thought that I would talk a little bit about that difference. When I am learning with the horse, it is a sensory experience. I want to see what their eyes and their ears and their nose and their feeling senses are all doing. And I want to make sure that I am in harmony with the feelings that cause better feelings in the horse. So feelings are always increasing or decreasing. And if a sensation increases to the point of overwhelm, it's always going to push a horse into fight, flight, or freeze. If a sensation is below the level of overwhelm, the horse is going to want to experience more of it until they're tired. And then when they're tired, they want to shut down all those senses. Their eyes glaze over, their ears hang out to the side, they just relax, and they process whatever it was they learned when their senses were active. So when I'm learning with a horse, I'm going to do that same thing. I'm going to notice with my 5 senses, probably not so much taste. It'll probably be the other 4. Same for the horse. We're going to learn with our 5 senses. And as we learn with our 5 senses, we're going to gather information about the world around us. And we're going to spend more time focused on the senses that bring harmony and cooperation into the partnership. Any sensation in the horse that is overwhelming is going to bring disharmony in the horse, which means they're going to push into you or pull against you. And obviously we don't have halters on in freedom-based training, so there's nothing really to pull on, but they can pull so the space between you gets bigger and bigger. Now, I had a great question earlier today. Someone asked me, Elsa, if my horse bumps me a little bit, is it possible that's just them wanting to connect? It's not them being concerned? And I wasn't there, so I don't know the situation for sure. We only really know if it's concern if it continues to escalate. So concern is a push that gets bigger. And you get to decide where you draw the line between curiosity and concern. Curiosity is gathering more information through the senses, which usually does not mean moving the feet. The senses are more in the eyes and the ears. That's not to say that's never. It's a never say never situation. But in general, curiosity is not going to mean changing anything about the feet, which means if the horse was standing still when they started gathering information, they just keep standing still. If the horse was walking when they started gathering information, they just keep walking. If they were trotting when they were gathering information, they just keep trotting. It turns into concern when the mass of their body can't keep doing what it was doing in order for the brain to process information or gather information. So if the feet have to stop or have to speed up in order to get the information the horse needs, we're starting to verge into concern. Now, you get to draw the line where you want to draw the line. There is some gray area there. But when we're learning with the horse versus trying to teach the horse, we are going to see all of that as information. When the horse starts to push or pull, they are just telling us some of their senses got overwhelmed. And we go, oh, that's really interesting information. I'm so glad I know that. This is really going to help me help you in the future. And what I mean by that is, if I know my horse always gets overwhelmed when there's strange smells around, it means that before they start feeling overwhelmed, before their senses start feeling overloaded, I could suggest using a different sense. I can point out something to look at or something to listen to. And that isn't me trying to fix the horse or change the horse. That's me being a really good partner. I know what bothers you, so I know when to suggest doing something different. Now, if we're doing this in real freedom, the horse can choose to listen to me or not. And the reason they would listen to me or not depends on my feel and my timing in our history. If I've always made good suggestions in the past, they're pretty likely they're going to listen to me. If I've made a lot of bad suggestions in the past, they're pretty likely going to ignore me. And when it comes to learning with the horse, it's not about teaching them to not ignore you. It's not about teaching them to not push you or teaching them to not run away from you. That's different. Learning with the horse is knowing what stimulates their senses in a way that their sensory system can't handle yet, and helping them think about something different before they feel bad. This is very different from teaching skills. But once you really show the horse, you know how to exist with them in space, they trust you so much more. So when you say, relax, I need to tell you what to do because this is a dangerous situation that you're not familiar with, your horse is more likely to trust you because of all the times you showed them, you understand how their sensory system works. And the sensory system's a little different in every horse. All horses feel concern sometimes, which means they're going to push or they're going to pull or they're going to freeze up and not be able to do anything. Those are your concern states. All horses feel curiosity sometimes, where they use their 5 senses to gather information without needing to change their body. All horses feel comfort at some point. It may be good quality comfort, it may be bad quality comfort, but comfort is just the shutting down of the senses so that the body and the brain can rest for a moment or two. And once we've got that framework of what all horses look like, we need to realize that every horse has different tipping points. So I usually put this on the image of a triangle. So concern is on one side of the triangle, curiosity is on another, comfort's on another, and there's a tipping point between each state. That's where every horse is different. Do you know what happens before your horse's 5 senses get overwhelmed? That's what learning with your horse is all about. Do you know what happens when their curiosity starts to elevate, becomes very high curiosity, and oh, that's fun. It's fun to have high curiosity until it's too much. And then it's going to tip over into fight, flight, or freeze. And yeah, Sarah, I'm so glad you could make it to tea time. I'm here at an unusual time. But I'm glad there's a few people joining me anyway. So we know all horses are going to experience those 3 emotional states, and that's fine. That's going to be true whether you're teaching them to do something or whether you're learning with them. Every horse is going to have different tipping points depending on their personality, their breed characteristics, their stress level at that time in their life, their age, the weather patterns. All of that impacts where the tipping points are. If you know your horse, and you know where your horse's tipping points are, you will do a much better job of teaching them things when you decide to teach them things. Or you can be like me, and you can spend as much time as you want learning with them. I spend most of my time learning with my horses. How are each one of them unique? Then from there, I pay attention and I help them remember the stuff that's going to make their lives better. That again, it's not teaching them anything new. It's just emphasizing the stuff that makes them feel better. Emphasizing the habits and patterns that help them use their sensory system better. Then from there, I start linking my yields and my patterns and my riding and whatever else I want to, I start linking those to really good use of the sensory system. And that's how I slowly make my way from learning with the horse into teaching the horse something. I like to build a really strong foundation of learning with the horse before I start teaching them things. I don't think you have to do that way. If you want to teach them things faster, you're going to use things like food rewards. You're going to use things like halters or round pens or flags or bridles, whatever your tools are. That's how you teach horses faster. I'm not opposed to it. I just really, really like the slow path. And I like to smell all the roses on my journey to do more things with horses. So for those of you who are thinking about last week's tea time, and I was talking about, do we really help horses develop their sensory system, or do we teach them to relax and do what they're told? It's not really an either or situation. It's a how much time do you spend on each aspect? I spend a lot of time developing their sensory system and only a little time on their skills because mostly I stay home where it's safe. If you're going to be going out in dangerous situations, you've got to maybe focus on the skills first, and then just do a little bit of the sensory system work to make your skills better. Marguerite says, so much consciousness through all what's going on. Yeah, that's it. Being aware of all the details, all of the small points of focus, all of the things that make our horses' lives better on a day-to-day basis through their own nervous system. And how do I interact with that so that I make it better and better, and I enhance their life day to day? Then on top of that, for sure, I'm going to build skills. There will be times when the world is dangerous and they will need to just relax and do what they're told, because I understand cars better than they do. And I understand how to avoid danger in some human situations better than they do. But I'm going to build a really strong foundation of understanding what's important to them first. And then I'm going to teach it to any of you guys who are interested and share what I learned with you so that you can decide what percentage of your time you do one or the other. So I hope that helps give a little bit of clarity to the theories from last week's tea time. And maybe it just raises more questions. If it does, drop them in the comments. I'll either answer them there or it'll give us good inspiration for next week's talk. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you next week.